Dokkan dropped a huge batch of Extreme Z Awakening characters, and first up that we're going to take a look here today is Tech Janemba, because he's one of my most anticipated Extreme Z Awakening characters. I think that this guy was probably a lot better than we gave him credit for on his release in terms of what he actually could do, but he did have some annoying restrictions that I think they were able to patch up pretty well with his EZA, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what he's going to be doing here. There's one thing I'm not really content with in terms of like his passive structure now, but again, we'll talk about it once we actually get to it here. So the very bare minimum, this Tech Janemba transformation seems like he could also be pretty good. I think we'll just start things off by just talking about what, oh, actually I messed up. I needed to grab one rainbow orb. Let me just hop back in. Okay, I'm back and I won't make that same mistake. Now, this Janemba does want a rainbow key sphere and 3 type key spheres, which is different from his release. On his release, he wanted 2 rainbow key spheres and 4 type key spheres, which was definitely a big issue. So just starting off, he has 180% attack and defense, guard, 50% damage reduction. Then he gives the key 2 and 30% attack and defense support to extreme class allies, all for free. Now, if you get 3 or more type key spheres, he does give corroded body and mind or uncontrollable power allies 30% extra attack and defense. Then he launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance to be a super attack. Then, with 1 or more rainbow key spheres obtained, he'll get another 150% defense start of turn and then 30% damage reduction. So we're starting off here at 348k defense. I don't know if he gets any extra links in the middle. It seems like he doesn't, so we're just gonna go ahead and keep him here. We're getting him 11 key spheres, which doesn't like really matter. Again, the most important thing is that you get the 4 key spheres and the 1 rainbow, or the 3 type key spheres and the 1 rainbow. So we can go ahead and give him that right there. He's giving a little support now. So we're at 528k. Not obviously the highest defense, but this guy does get 30% reduction plus his 50% reduction. That's a total of 80%, which is really huge. With supporting like he's supporting Buuhan here, and I don't believe Texel, unfortunately, in terms of the full 60%, but Texel's still getting the key 2 and 30% here, which is going to be really nice. So again, we'll just start things off and let's just see what Tech Janemba is able to do. Now, you'll see right here, one unfortunate thing about Tech Janemba is that he does get 20% attack up to 100% when receiving an attack, which I guess that's good, right? Multiplicative attack. However, he does lose 5% damage reduction, no more than 50% lost. Which means that after receiving 10 attacks, he's going to lose all that 50% damage reduction that he gained on his EZA, which I feel like is a bit much. We'll see, how he looks like as a floater, but I mean, okay. He doesn't stack defense or anything. In fact, he stacks attack. He does raise attack, raises defense for the turn, and it causes immense damage. I feel like, I don't know. I think that losing the full 50% is going a bit overboard, because it kind of, his defense with the guard and then the 30% reduction by itself, I don't think that's going to be enough to really keep him sustainable at the end of fights. And it's like, maybe I will prefer this guy as a support character instead of transforming him into the actual Super Janemba form, right? And Super Janemba, again, when we get to him, he's not a bad character or anything. It's just a thing of, there are 2 differently designed characters. And I think the point is that you should have the choice if you wanted to transform or not. Because, again, with how at least I build my team builds, I build them in a way where I ideally have, like, you know, my rotation characters and then my floating characters. There's a lot of situations where that might not be kept up, unfortunately, but yeah. We do have Int Janemba here. We probably have to hope Int Janemba gets his dodge here. I believe Rose always supers instantly, but we'll go ahead. I mean, I could put Tech Janemba in the front, but we'll let Int Janemba go here. We can go ahead and get like this, literally exactly like this. we could also do this. I want to make sure Buhan gets some rainbow key spheres. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. I think if I... No, even if I drop this, that rainbow orb is not going to connect. Like the one on the far right. So maybe if I do this, another rainbow orb will populate. Oh, it did. And we got 11 key spheres. Perfect. Okay. That's a little lucky right there, but yeah. Rose seems like he always will super in slot 1. So we got 90% dodge here. Thank you, Janemba. And of course, especially once the physical Janemba does transform, they're going to link very, very well, but they're linking really good here together already. I mean, Janemba usually doesn't just start off hitting 20 mil attack stats, right? He does need to get, what, 4 dodges to get his full attack build up, so having this Janemba here will be very helpful. Now, I guess one thing you could say about a potential hidden potential build for this guy, if you really want to value his defense priority, I think dodge would be a really good idea in that sense, where dodge will let you keep the damage reduction because, again, it's for every attack received. It's not like when guard is activated or anything. So if he does dodge an attack, he won't lose the damage reduction. And obviously, if you don't really care about his attack build-up, then yeah. You know what? Instead of attack build-up, this should have been a defense build-up. Because if you got like 100% multiplicative defense, and then he's at like, you know, let's say 1 mil plus defense with guard and 30% reduction, that's still not bad. But like, this boy is going to be, or he's going to be even higher than that because he's got the 30% attacking defense per, you know, super. But he's probably sitting around like, I would say about like 800, 900k, which is pretty close, but it's like, obviously, you know, when I say the 1 mil defense, I'm thinking like start a turn before he supers and gets that, you know, 90% raise there. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and skip forward to the next turn. I actually probably will put AGL Cell here just because Tech Cell gets extra reduction against super class characters. So against an extreme class character, he may not be looking like the craziest, right? So we'll skip ahead. Right here, we technically could get the Janemba actual transformation here, but I'm actually going to use Buhan's domain, and actually we'll play Buhan's domain because it's not really something we see too often. And then I'm going to get one more attack stack with Janemba. We're going to, well, if I put him against the super, we're not going to see, well, I guess his, okay, yeah. I'll put him against the super because his actual defense stat doesn't really matter. But I would like to get one more attack stat potentially. I guess we could, I mean, how many supers have we gotten? 5 super attacks. I think we'll get one more stack here and see what like Janemba's looking like with the attack buildup. Then next turn we'll transform into the tech super Janemba. So let's also get the domain in here. Yeah, this domain again is not something we really are able to see too often, but again, Tech Janemba's on this 200% team, which is why we're running it. Wuhan's still pretty, like, you know, he's pretty good when he has his domain up because he gets quite a bit of damage reduction, if I'm not mistaken, like depending on the amount of actually no, he just has a 70% reduction, yeah, and he'll get like 40% defense per key sphere when you're receiving an attack. Like Wuhan is still pretty good, I think, you know. And he's going to be giving 15% to Tech Janemba here, so I mean, we'll see what Tech Janemba is able to do on this turn. I would assume he should still be looking quite fine, and we'll go ahead and grab all these with Tech Wuhan here, again with the domain supports. Let's see what he does against Rose Super. He's taking, what, 4 attacks, so that's 20% damage reduction loss. Oh, he actually dodged, which actually, you know, I prefer that, you know, sure. So that's 17 mil. When he's like basically, I mean, that's 4, so he only has to receive 5 attacks for his full attack buff. So that was one more attack he could have gotten. 17 mil, I guess, is fine, right? So one more skip and then we'll look at him transformed. All right, we are here with Tech Janemba. We'll get his transformation now. I think this will be a good time. So 6 attack stacks, or actually, yeah, 5 attack stacks, my bad, because one of those were not a super attack. That's fine though. And let's see what this guy is able to do. I guess right here. So Tech Janemba is out here, and he actually does have orb changing. He does change AGL Keyspheres to Rainbow Keyspheres, which I do like. And he randomly changes Keyspheres of a certain type to any one type of Keysphere. So that is interesting, where he could change like any, like he could change tech to tech, he could change AGL to AGL, but he could also change tech to int or physical to STR. Like it could be any random type. I don't think he changes Rainbow Keyspheres though, which is nice. He has 200% attack and defense start of turn, guard, and a 50% base chance to dodge. So I think right here we'll put in Janemba in slot 1 is what I'm probably going to do, just because Janemba doesn't really work in slot 2 like that, right? And you want his him to be like be safe, right? Because Janemba, he is definitely a dodge character. So they actually share all 7 links, which is really, really nice. So again, Janemba will get a lot of power from this links, you know, especially like here's Nightmare. This is Fear and Faith won't actually give too much, it's just key. But right here, this is Brutal Beatdown, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? Shocking Speed. This right here is a Metamorphosis. Like, he's just getting so much power, especially the boss's link. Now, he does actually have the same, basically, design where he wants the 3 type Keyspheres and then 1 Rainbow Keysphere. So with 1 Rainbow Keysphere, he'll get an extra 30% dodge. So this means he has 80% chance to dodge. Then he'll launch an additional super attack and get 100% attack and defense with 3 Rainbow Keyspheres. So we go ahead and, or 3 type Keyspheres, my bad. So we'll go ahead and grab this here. We're at 582k defense. So that's with the guard and then the actual, what's it called? 30 or 80% dodge, right? Which is really cool. Now, you may be thinking this defense stat is really low. And yeah, you know, the defense stat itself is not really crazy. The one thing though is that he does get 250% attack defense when attacking at 12 or more key, which is a huge multiplicative buff. That shoots him up to 2 million defense, not counting any defense he gets from his super attack effects. Now he does want to get an attack received as well, which again, the more XP remaining, the greater the defense boost within the turn, up to 150%. So if he receives the attack, I believe that's a one-time buff. That is also a multiplicative 150%. So that actually shoots him all the way up to 2.9 million defense, if I'm not mistaken, on this turn specifically. We're getting Buhan support. We're getting, you know, this Buhan support. We're also getting the domain support. Like, there's a lot going on here to kind of juice this Janemba up, make him look really pretty. Now, this AoE is going to go through, and since we're at full health, we're going to get that full defense buff right there. I believe that's how it would probably work, right? Actually, Tech Janemba, his buffs, he may still get the attack buff even after he dodges, I think. That might be the thing. So, in Janemba, we really need to, we need to pull through here. Let's see what Tech Janemba is able to do. I mean, for the first 6 turns, he also does get, actually no, I'm reading Wuhan's kit, I'm kind of stupid. All right, let's just see what this guy's able to do. 48 mil, huh? And he didn't even get that many stacks. He also does perform a crit temporarily upon his next attack when he dodges. So he's guaranteed critting here. Or, actually, no, it's only one attack that he guaranteed crits. One last thing I want to point out. Before receiving an attack, he has 30% reduction as well. So right here, he was at, what, 3 mil defense with the guard and 30% reduction and 80% dodge. Now, of course, after he took that first attack, he lost the 30% reduction, but he has a little safeguard there. That's pretty good, actually. Is he not, like, really good, actually? Tech Janemba? Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Tech Janemba, look at you go, buddy. Okay, let's try to get to this next turn, and then after we'll, because it depends on If AGSO doesn't dodge like the super attack especially, or might be dead here. If so, we'll just skip forward to Battle Hardened Foes. Actually, guys, I'm really stupid. I'm very stupid. I'm extremely stupid. When receiving an attack for the first time, that's Buhan. That's Tech Buhan's kit I was reading. So never mind. I was so confused for a second. I was like, okay. So no, he only has 2 mil defense. He has 2 mil defense, which is still quite good. Like on that turn post super attack. And well, that's not considering that he got a double super actually. So if we consider the double super attack, that is actually 3.2 mil. That is, oh no, man. That is still 3 mil defense. 3.2 mil with a double super. Because he'll get 60%. Because again, he does greatly raise attack and raises defense for 1 turn. That both is a 1 turn raise. So it's not stacking attack anymore. But you know, so he was at 3 mil defense there. The reason why I wanted to get to this turn is because I wanted to show, so like he is at 309k here. Yeah, this is without the domain support or anything. I wanted to see what he looks like without the domain support. But I think we probably would die here, honestly. I mean, I could still put in Janemba there. Int Janemba. Let me check one last thing. Because does he only give his support when he's in slot 1 or 2? I believe so. Yeah, so I mean, I would have to put in Janemba here. I mean, I guess we'll see. I think Impuhan might be okay. Let's see, we're getting him all the Rainbow Key Spheres. I just want to see his attack stat that he'll get here. I mean, we're getting 30% attack from Impuhan still, so we should be okay. And it really depends, like, okay, is Janemba gonna get like all these dodges, or is he gonna die to a super? As long as he doesn't die to a super attack, that'll be fine. And yeah, again, I am planning to take him into Battle Hardened Formidable Foes here as well, because I think, you know, that's actually probably going to be a stage where this guy will really excel. Now, to get Tech Janemba out, you do want to receive 5 attacks or more times in battle, right? That's just the only thing, but I don't think that's going to really be too hard. You might actually see that pretty easily in Battle Hardened Foes. Oh, well, and Janemba died. Okay, well, let's move on to Battle Hardened. All right, we're running the Int Broly team here, and I think we'll push in Janemba off rotation here, actually, is what I'm probably going to do. So, yeah, again, here we should be looking, again, I mean, the Int Broly team is still actually going to be really good for the Battle Hardened Formidable Foes fights, just because of the fact that it is short fights, and then Broly's going to get his guard and everything, and we could actually have a pretty good run here, I'm thinking, especially with the addition of Tech Janemba. Tech Janemba helps things out quite a bit, so let me just skip forward and we'll get to hopefully next turn. Buhan, I guess, could get potentially shredded, maybe, I don't know. We'll be back though. So I might actually take this opportunity to show Tech Janemba without any domain support in this fight, just so I guess we could have that. We're gonna grab the full support here. I mean, this is no big bad bosses, nothing like that. So this is with his full damage reduction. Now again, with each attack he receives, he's gonna lose 5% of that reduction, so that will suck, but he should be fine for especially the first few attacks. We're gonna get a super attack off, which will be useful. Still, the full reduction there, so we have, well, not the full reduction anymore, still he had what, 70% there, so now we have 65% damage reduction with the guard. Now if I almost call him L'Oreal, if this guy crits, he will lose more and more of the guard, but I say more and more, but if he crits, we will lose the guard ability, right? Ideally this guy stuns. I would help in Broly stuns here though. I kind of banked on that just because I wanted to see what Janemba was able to do there, but he obviously held his own. All right, perfect, we got a stun. Sweet. We'll go ahead and get both the domain and Tech Janemba, because I think that'll allow Tech Janemba to really have a nice attack stat. Now he's actually not gonna get the guaranteed crit is the only thing about this, because I'm not gonna put him someone again in Janemba. That's the only thing about Janemba. He's kind of locked to slot 1. I guess you could run him in slot 3, but obviously I want to get, you know, the good rotation with Tech Janemba. Right there, he actually had a pretty good orb changing for us, so we can grab these physical orbs now, and we're looking pretty nice. So 617k start of turn here with the domain and everything with Int Broly. So I believe with Int Broly we actually might be getting the full buff because we're also movie bosses. So we're actually looking really nice here in terms of like all the buffs that we're going to be having for Janemba. He's actually going to look probably a little stronger here in this team setup. So whatever the case is, let's just hop right in and let's see what kind of numbers we're going to be doing. So I guess I could do the math for this. So 250%, about 617k defense, right? Yeah, he's at 2.1. And then obviously, depending on how many super attacks he gets, he'll also get more defense. With 80% dodge, the guard, and then the 30% reduction of the first attack he'll actually will take. No super attack just yet, I believe. Well, actually, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at this. So 37k right here. Obviously, the attack size lower. I guess it makes sense because he's not getting as many attack stacks from the actual tech Janemba phase. But I mean, this guy is gonna be pretty invincible. You know, put the invincible title card up. You know, the thing is that we could really like depend on him against these AoEs, because if he's in like the second turn, he might not actually receive a lot of attacks. So you could go into the AoE Broly phase and just not even worry. I think for time's sake, I do actually have a bunch of other showcases I need to do, and my Elgato finally started working. So I mean, I'm probably gonna end it here. I think we saw enough of what I really wanted to showcase from this guy. With the guard and 30% reduction, and he's like 3 mil defense post super basically, I think that this character is going to be very tanky against most of these bosses in the game. I mean, I think, you know, when you lose that reduction, especially against non-dodge bosses, like, or dodge canceling bosses, it could be an issue, but he should still generally be fine. I think, like, if you take him against like that blue Goku fight, the 3 mil defense and the guard, I think, you know, he should actually be pretty fine against like his super attack, for example. Maybe I could see a point where it's like, okay, like STR Jiren, he's hitting for like 6 mil. I think he's gonna probably do pretty significant damage. I think, you know, we could consider, let's say, I mean, unless he hits you with the 30% reduction, right? Then you're okay. I'm trying to think of other dodge canceling bosses. I mean, the AGL Jiren, he probably would be fine against too. I think post super, I would assume he should live, but I guess I'm not really 100% of that. But either way, let me know what y'all think. Appreciate y'all for watching. I really like this guy. I think he's really good. And I'll just catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.